Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, I was scrolling through Reddit. I saw a post on the Warships subreddit pointing out that it had been a little over a year since the CC mass exodus of 2021, and asking if, well, have things in the game really changed for the better? So kudos to, I apologize if I don't say this correctly. If you've watched the channel, you know I can't pronounce anything worth crap without about 2 weeks of practice. Pierre Hard, however you say your name, sir. So kudos to you for bringing this up. So, as someone that obviously plays this game quite a lot, I upload pretty much World Warships daily videos for most of the year, with a little bit different videos on Sunday. I have obviously spent a lot of time in the game, and obviously was present for the whole bit of drama that happened back then. So today I'm just giving my take on what has improved and what hasn't improved and what needs work currently in World of Warships. So one of the major things that was brought up during the mass exodus, there were, in my mind, three major points. One was the increased aggressive monetization of the game and dependency on RNG loot boxes. Two was a lack of communication. Well, there was communication, but a lack of clear communication between not only wargaming and CCs, but wargaming and the community. And three was a general lack of respect or appreciation of the CCs, because the breaking point of many a CC was the events that happened with Little White Mouse and the Yukon debacle, which, if you want to in-depth look at that, I've made several videos on that. They are quite easy to find, but I'll link them in the description down below or pin them somewhere up here, where essentially, if you want the short version, Little White Mouse, a community contributor, thought she was asked to essentially create a ship for Canada Day, so her and her compadre Chobi went in and spent the better part of a year designing a ship for Canada Day, and Wargaming basically took what they did and pretty much threw it out the window, and we got the Yukon, which by many a player's opinion is a substandard premium ship in game. And it turns out that's not really what they wanted her to do. They just wanted some general inputs from her regarding the design of the Yukon. So that right there was the trigger for the mass exodus a year ago. And of course, those other issues, which have been long-standing issues with wargaming, certainly led up to that. So let's start with the monetization. How is the monetization in the game gone? Before we get too far into that, though, I just do want to state that this is a free-to-play game. It follows the free-to-play platform. You don't have to pay anything to play this game, and it's very possible in World Warships, much easier so than a lot of other free-to-play games, to not spend a dime and have a perfectly fantastic time in this game. I know quite a few players that are pretty much strictly free-to-play players. They haven't spent much more than maybe $10 on this game in their many years playing this game. And if you really look at it, again, like, go take a look at some other free-to-play type of games. You can really get a lot out of this game completely for free, including quite a few premium ships. So, yes, it is a business model. It's meant to make money. But have they stepped away from some of their more aggressive monetization tactics? And the answer is kind of. There's a couple of strategies that I don't agree with, but they, at the end of the day, aren't locking anything behind paywalls anymore. If you really take a look back at the current events going on, nothing's locked behind a paywall. I mean, you've got the Puerto Rico dockyard, which is basically an apology dockyard for how terrible the first Puerto Rico event went, where you can get quite a lot of goodies for free and wind up paying a little over $20 to $30-ish for a tier 10 premium ship at the end in order to get the last few sections of the dockyard in order to complete the dockyard and get the Puerto Rico, which is a tier 10 premium ship, which normally runs you about $130, not to mention all the rewards you get along the way, which includes a tier 7 premium ship, the Huron, which I'm closing in on, which normally by itself is worth about $30. So the current Puerto Rico dockyard event's a fantastic event. The previous dockyard events, despite whether or not the ships in them were actually good, if you look at the monetization schemes in them, there weren't many schemy schemes. They were just, pretty standard good dockyard events like we've been having since they've kind of honed in their dockyard model over the past few dockyard events. The early access events, those are events that I don't really agree with, but at the same time, they're completely unnecessary events. You don't have to partake in them because, like with the British battle cruisers right now, yes, it's gone on for 2 full patch cycles now, and I think it's about to enter its 3rd, I think, or it's about to conclude. But either way, the ships are coming out completely for free for everyone to research in either this update or the following update. So again, you haven't had to spend money to get these ships, you just had to wait. I mean, again, it's early access. You're paying to get early access to these ships that are going to be available completely for free. And the next bit kind of bleeds into the other point that not the other point, it's in the same point, my bad. The RNG loot boxes. They've done a fantastic job of disclosing drop rates recently. Now, as many have pointed out in my comment section, in the subreddit, and in the forums, this might not be them wholly listening to the player base, but rather having to conform to laws that are cropping up in a few countries here and there. I think Belgium is the one kind of leading the way with this, that's introducing very harsh laws on RNG loot boxes in gaming because it's essentially gambling. And either way, though, they've done a fantastic job of clearly lining out what's going to happen when you purchase these loot boxes, what your chances are of getting an item, even with the British battleship containers right now. Everything's laid out, plain Jane for you. And they did this pretty fast after the CC Exodus. They were out with the chances for the Black Friday events. It was in a dev blog. Center Containers rolled around. It was in a dev blog and in an article on the game's website. Then around January, February of the New Year's, I think, or March, they had their system implemented in game, where again it breaks everything down for you, and now you have to verify that you are 18 years or older in order to proceed with purchase of an loot box. So they've taken care of that pretty well, and they have been leaning less and less on them. However, they have shifted more over to the random bundles now, which, like with the Around the World event, there is an option to get some of these tokens for free via the credits, buying the 3 tokens for 10 million credits, where you can have 3 chances at getting the New Hampshire, which I was lucky enough to get her on the second go round, but of course I'm not everybody. So they do seem to have taken a step back from the super aggressive monetization while finding other ways to still make profit in the game and keep the game running. Because again, they have to make money somewhere to keep the game running. Granted, my opinion is that if the product is good enough, players enjoy the game, they will naturally spend money on the game. But of course, again, they still want to make money. But from what I've seen, they have managed to take a step back from the aggressive monetization. Now, will they stay the course on this? We'll see. Hopefully they will. The community seems to have accepted that and appreciated that for the time being, but we'll see what the future holds. And that was one of the major ones that many a CC and many a player listed to during this time of airing our grievances at Wargaming. So the next part, the communication issues. How has this gone? Well, pretty well. We've gotten a lot of dev blogs. A lot of dev blogs since that CC Exodus back in last August. Very detailed dev blogs too. especially when it comes to things like submarine testing. I've got, God, I don't know how many videos going over submarine changes and new things being tested via these dev blogs that have been released. And they're very detailed, too. They're releasing dev blogs with full spreadsheets on how, let's say, this event's going to work, how the Puerto Rico dockyard is going to work. They released all the stages beforehand. They've done that with several dockyards since the Odin dockyard, where you can see everything that's going to be in the combat missions for the dockyard. They've been very transparent with a lot of the changes coming to the game. Again, very clear communication. So I guess they hired some HR expert or something, because it has improved a lot. Has it been entirely without fumble? No. But there hasn't been any major communication issues since the CC Exodus. So they've managed to hold this course for a year, and they seem to be doing a good job of it. They're very responsive with inquiries from the community. Renown, with the new British battlecruiser line coming out, the Renown we got in games, this weird in-between refit Renown that didn't really see action in the Second World War. And they explained that they couldn't put the actual Renown in the tech line because they wanted it to be the Tier 6, but the Renown with all their secondaries or heavy AA would be too overpowered for Tier 6, so they planned on releasing it as a premium later on in the Tier 7, which they got around to announcing that yes, it's a Tier 7 premium, but we're giving it away for free. And we got the answer to that question within, I think the question was answered in the forums within a day or two, and then a few weeks later, I think literally 2 weeks later, we got the dev blog with the announcement of Renown 44. That's just one example of how the communication has improved. Again, how much longer are they going to be able to keep this streak going? I hope it's for the rest of this game's life, because I'm enjoying hearing what's going on in the game, hearing what's being tested here and there. And there's many an idea and concept that gets released one day in the dev blog, and next week they're like, yep, didn't work, so we're not doing it, like with the support CVs, for example. But they still kept us in the loop, and I really appreciate that for sure. Third main point, the CC program. I can't speak too much on this because I'm not a CC. I've never been a CC. The big appeal to the CC program for me was getting early access to new upcoming ships and features and be able to showcase them whenever you wanted to on your channel. But that since has been toned back quite a lot. There was a period where CCs couldn't really show anything at all, and that is really what pushed me away from applying to the CC program. Now they're kind of bringing more things back. I mean, if you want to know when the new ship's coming out, all the CCs release their reviews 2 days before. I think is when the NDA goes up. When the NDA comes off. But again, I can't really speak too much about the CC program from the inside. Apologies have been made between Little White Mouse and Wargaming, but she's still not part of the program anymore, along with several other larger names as well. So I can't really say too much about that because I myself haven't been able to experience that side of things, but it does seem they are trying to bring new life into the CC program. Now, of course, like many person pointed out, Wargaming doesn't really need the CC program anymore because the game's taken off. In the early days, it was vital to getting the game out there and growing a community, but the community's here, the game's taken off, and yeah. So, for the most part, I'd say, yeah, they've managed to improve things. Is it a massive improvement? I would be hesitant to say it's a massive improvement, but it's a clear improvement over where we were at a year ago. Again, the communication between Wargaming and the community is much quicker and much cleaner. They're keeping us in the loop on everything from submarine testing to minor changes with the game to graphical upgrades to bug fixes. They are so much quicker with bug fixes now than they were beforehand. With most cases, it's within a few weeks. There's a hot fix out for most for most bugs that crop up in the game, so I gotta give them kudos for that. The monetization, they've backed off on it. They've backed away from loot boxes, and when they do use loot boxes, they've got the drop rates ready to go. It's in game, all in front of you for you to see when you're purchasing these loot boxes. They have added in a lot of alternate ways to pick up new premium ships, like with, again, the Huron. It's in the dockyard. It's a free ship in the dockyard. Renown 44 is going to be a free ship, just has a couple of examples here and there. So overall, I would say we are in a much better place than we are from a year ago. Is there still a lot to improve on? Yes, there still is. One of my main things is, like with the early access events, they're dragging these out for 2 or 3 patches at a time now, which I think is a little excessive. I get a patch or two, but like when we start getting these early access events, they're going to 3 patches. It's like, you know, come on, really? And the Lighthouse auctions, they've been fine for the most part, but one of my big concerns is that, you know, they're going to pull a switcheroo on us one day and maybe change the rules on it. But again, so far, those have been very well done so far, but again, we'll see what the future holds. So guys, that's my take on the CC Exodus a year later, where we're at with the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I can imagine there's going to be quite a few comments about submarines and CV balance, which, yes, that's an issue too. With subs, like, I don't think they're overpowered anymore. They're incredibly annoying to deal with when you get singled out by them, but I wouldn't say they're overpowered. Annoying as hell, yes. Overpowered, no. CVs, for the most part, I think CV versus surface ship interactions at its best that it's been since the CV rework. I'm saying it's great? No. I'm saying it's at its best since the rework. The only real issues I see are the Soviet CVs. Those things are still a little kooky, especially the tier 10, God, why can't I remember the thing's name now? Nakhimov. Why couldn't I remember that? Like I think the Nakhimov is the only real problem CV at the moment. Again, we'll see what the future holds. And there are going to be some issues with game balancing regarding all the hybrid ships they're starting to cook in. Those are my main areas of concern going forward with the game. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below again. Hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. Hope you guys enjoy your Labor Day weekend. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're getting real close to 40,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. We'll be doing a giveaway for 40K once we get there, so make sure you stick around for that giveaway. Again, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.